Hello everyone, Joel here with Now Let's Fix This. On this segment we're going to talk about your electrical panel into your house. Want to give you the basics here, not trying to cover any expertise or anything like that, just to give you the bare basics of what to understand, what it consists of, and things to look out for when you do have to look at this. This panel here is an outdoor panel. It's on the outside of the wall of the house. It's easy to access, easy to work on. But remember, if you're going to work on inside of these things, you need to have the right equipment and the right expertise, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. This being outside has an outdoor cover. It covers the breakers themselves. You can see in this particular application, you can see what we've decided to do is we went ahead and used the permanent marker to label everything, because when you put them on paper, it tends to fade with years and you can have a hard time finding it again. So I chose the easy way, simple way. Here what we have here is the main breaker. This turns everything off. You have an emergency, you just flip this guy, turns everything off. This is the 220 breaker. So this panel is a 120 240. This is a 240 volt breaker. Turns both sections off, the 120s and the 240s. Now you have all your different breakers, like we've talked about in other segments. You got 20 amp breakers, you got 30 amp breakers, 40 amp breakers, and a different mix of everything. If you'll see, there's some GFCI type breakers, and we'll talk about more GFCI in other segments here. But in a nutshell, you can see all the different things we have built in here, and the different applications. The dryers for the air conditioners, for the cooktop, the ovens, the double ovens, and so forth. Microwave for single 120 volt circuits. Everything's here. Then what you do is you carefully take this off and lift it out and pull it out, and then you can see the inside. Now the inside here, here's the dangerous part. You do not want to be touching anything. You have to have the right equipment if you're going to try to touch it. I, being an electrician, experienced, I stay away from it myself. I have to make sure I have my rubber gloves off and so forth if I'm trying to do anything special, but I prefer to have it de-energized. So if I'm covering something that you still want to know more on, you can always email me at nowletsfixthis@gmail.com. Now you can see all the different breakers, and if you notice, you can see some of the different gauges. Some wires thicker, some wires thinner, and that corresponds with a 15 amp versus the 30 amps versus the 40 amps. Exactly what we explained in the other segment. This is a two-sided bus bar. It's 240 volts with 120 volts per side. You have your neutral and your grounds. You see the white ones, you see the bare coppers, like we showed you in the Romex. And they come from inside the house, and they come in their plastic jacket. Once they come in here, they strip it back, and they make everything try to look as pretty as they can. Some electricians, this is good. Some electricians want it even neater. It just depends on your electrician, but it all works the same. Some breakers are 220, which they will trip both at the same time. They're connected, so they'll trip at the same time. Some are single, so it'll just be one breaker tripping if there's a problem there. The point is that these will allow only 40 amps or 30 amps or 20 amps or 15 amps to go through into the circuit. Now this type of panel is an outdoor panel. You can get the same thing made for indoors. You'll see these mounted sometimes inside the house. On the newer homes, you'll see them mounted inside the garage, but with the same basic insides. The main disconnect, the bus bar, the ground bars, the neutral bars, the breakers, all the same, but indoors. Much less expensive, but if you have an issue with it, much more difficult to work with. Thus, we mount them outside to make it easy to work on. So, in a nutshell, what you have is a 240 volt system with your breakers matched for the size of the wire, feeding different parts of the house, different applications, different appliances, for your air conditioners, to your dryers, to your stovetops, to your ovens, and then down to your regular outlets and your lighting and your GFCIs for your wet locations. Now again, this is not meant to replace a expert tech manual or anything like that. This is just for the do-it-yourselfer to have a basic understanding of what to look for and to be safe while you're looking for it. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me at nowletsfixthis@gmail.com. We'll see you soon.